In the heart of a sweltering Atlanta courtroom, where justice hangs by a thread and prejudices lurk in every shadow, a racist cop named Officer Harlan Briggs ejects a poised black woman from the gallery, barking slurs that echo like thunder. Little does he know, she's the FBI chief who's about to unravel his entire corrupt world. If that shocks you, hit subscribe now for more jaw-dropping tales of redemption and revenge that expose the raw underbelly of American and British society. Don't miss out. Your next binge-worthy story awaits. The story unfolded on a humid Tuesday morning in the Fulton County Courthouse, where the air was thick with the scent of stale coffee and desperation. Officer Harlan Briggs, a burly man in his late 40s with a mustache that screamed authority and eyes narrowed by years of unchecked bias, stood guard at the entrance like a sentinel from a bygone era. His badge gleamed under fluorescent lights, but his heart was tarnished by the rust of racism he'd inherited from his southern roots. That day, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation for a high-profile drug trafficking trial involving a notorious gang leader, Marcus King Reynolds, whose empire spanned from Atlanta's streets to shadowy international connections. Harlan scanned the crowd with disdain, his gaze landing on an elegant black woman in her mid-30s, dressed in a sharp navy suit that screamed professionalism. She sat quietly in the back row, her dark curls framing a face etched with quiet determination, her brown eyes scanning the proceedings with an intensity that made Harlan uneasy. "Who does she think she is?" he muttered under his breath, his mind flashing to stereotypes he clung to like a lifeline. Without a second thought, he stormed over, his boots thudding against the worn linoleum. "You... out! This ain't no place for loiterers," he snarled, his voice laced with venom. The woman, Dr. Elena Vance, no, Special Agent in Charge Elena Vance, the newly appointed FBI chief of the Southeastern Division, looked up calmly, her ID badge tucked discreetly in her pocket. "I'm here on official business," she replied evenly, but Harlan wasn't having it. "Business? Yeah, right. Get your ass out before I drag you," he spat, grabbing her arm roughly and hauling her toward the door amid gasps from onlookers. The humiliation burned in Elena's chest, but she didn't resist. She knew this moment would be his undoing. As Harlan shoved her into the hallway, slamming the door behind her, he smirked, feeling the rush of power. Little did he know, Elena wasn't just any observer. She was the architect of the entire operation against Reynolds. Born in a rough Chicago neighborhood, Elena had clawed her way up through the FBI ranks, facing discrimination at every turn, from microaggressions in the academy to outright sabotage in the field. Her promotion to chief was hard-won, a testament to her brilliance in dismantling corruption rings that intertwined police departments with criminal syndicates. But this trial was personal. Reynolds had ties to Harlan's own precinct, where whispers of bribes and cover-ups had reached Elena's desk months ago. She had entered the courtroom incognito to gauge the security and spot any leaks. But Harlan's outburst had just handed her the smoking gun. Back inside, the trial proceeded, but Elena wasted no time. From the hallway, she dialed her team, her voice steel. "Initiate Phase 2. We have confirmation of bias interference." Within hours, FBI agents swarmed the courthouse, not for Reynolds, but for Harlan. The twist hit like a freight train. Surveillance footage from Elena's hidden body cam captured his racist tirade in crystal clear detail, including slurs that violated every code of conduct. But the real shock came when agents uncovered Harlan's secret. He wasn't just a bigot. He was on Reynolds' payroll, tipping off the gang about raids in exchange for cash stashed in offshore accounts. Elena had suspected it, but the ejection gave her the pretext to dig deeper. As Harlan was cuffed in the very courtroom he guarded, his face drained of color when Elena re-entered, badge flashing. You're the chief?" he stammered, the weight of his actions crashing down. "That's right," she said coolly. "And you're done." The fallout was explosive. Media frenzy erupted across the USA and UK, headlines screaming about systemic racism in law enforcement. Harlan's trial revealed a web of corruption involving half a dozen officers, leading to sweeping reforms. Elena, hailed as a hero, used the spotlight to advocate for change, but the deepest twist lay in her own past. Harlan was her estranged uncle, disowned by the family for his views, a secret she'd buried to protect her career. In the end, as he rotted in prison, Elena stood taller, her story a beacon. Justice isn't blind, but it can be awakened. And in the quiet aftermath, she whispered to herself, sometimes the boot fits the other foot.